Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something huge, this quest for a long, healthy life. And, we need to be clear, we're talking lifespan, sure, total years, but maybe more importantly, health span. Those years you're actually feeling good, vital, free from illness. And here's the real kicker. Something like 80% of how long and well we live seems to come down to lifestyle and environment, not just genes.
Yeah, exactly. Genetics are, well, a part of the story, but definitely not the whole thing. The vast majority is stuff we can influence.
Yeah.
So our mission today really is to unpack how community connections and some specific individual habits, how they really shape both how long you live and how well you live.
Okay, let's unpack that community part first. We hear so much about diet, exercise. Where do social ties actually fit in? Are they like really that big a deal for health?
Oh, absolutely crucial. It's not a soft factor at all. Research puts strong social networks right up there as a fundamental health determinant. We're talking impact levels comparable to well-known risks like smoking. And get this, it actually seems to have more influence than things like physical inactivity or obesity.
Wow, okay. More than inactivity. That's pretty striking. What's the hard data on that? And what happens if you don't have those strong connections?
Well, the numbers are quite stark. People with stronger social relationships, they have a 50% increased likelihood of survival. 50%. And the flip side is just as dramatic. Loneliness is linked to a 50% greater risk of dying prematurely. And it's not just about feeling down. Social isolation is tied to significantly higher risks for major health issues. We're talking a 29% increased risk for heart disease, 50% for dementia, 49% for type 2 diabetes, and even a 77% increased risk for depression. It actually causes physiological dysregulation, basically. Your body systems get out of whack. Things like inflammation in teens that rivals being sedentary, or high blood pressure in older adults, that's a bigger risk factor than even diabetes.
Right, so it's physically changing your body. How does that work? How does just, being part of a community translate into better health metrics?
It works on a few different levels. Psychologically, it reduces stress significantly. It gives you a sense of purpose. Physiologically, there's evidence it improves immune function, lowers chronic disease risk. And behaviorally, well, your community nudges you, often towards healthier habits, sometimes without you even noticing. You see this really clearly in the blue zones.
Ah, yeah, the blue zones, places like Okinawa, Sardinia, Loma Linda in California, right, where people live incredibly long, healthy lives.
Exactly. And they're perfect examples because they show it's not just about individual willpower. It's about creating environments where the healthy choice is the easy choice. Sometimes it's even unavoidable.
So what are some of those community-focused principles they live by? You mentioned the Power Nine.
Right, the Power Nine. A big one is belong. Regularly being part of a faith-based group or even just a strong social community. It's not just attending. It builds accountability, shared values. That alone can add, they estimate, between 4 and 14 years to your life.
4 to 14 years, just from belonging.
That's what the research suggests, yeah. Then there's right tribe. Basically, choosing friends who support healthy behaviors. Because habits, good and bad, are surprisingly contagious. They also move naturally. So less about hitting the gym and more about building activity into daily life, like gardening or walking. And diet-wise, the plant slant, mostly plants, and the 80% rule, stopping eating when you feel about 80% full.
Okay, so communities like this foundational layer makes sense, but what about things we can do individually to sort of layer on top of that? Any specific interventions worth looking at?
Definitely. Let's talk about sauna use. It's interesting because it triggers physiological changes that are actually quite similar to moderate exercise. Your heart rate goes up maybe 100 to 150 beats per minute, which is great for cardiovascular health. But there's more. It seems to help protect cells through something called heat shock proteins. Think of them like your cell's internal repair crew. And it helps reduce inflammation. The studies often point to using traditional Finnish saunas, pretty hot, 8110 Celsius, maybe 4 to 7 times a week for 15-20 minutes.
Interesting. Okay, what else? I've heard about maca root, Lepidium mayani. It's called an adaptogen. What does that actually mean?
Right, adaptogen. Think of it as something that helps your body, well, adapt to stress. It helps maintain balance, physiological balance, or homeostasis. So the benefits people report include things like better energy and stamina. Black maca seems especially good for that. Also improvements in mood, maybe cognitive function. And it's often used for hormonal balance, like helping with menopausal symptoms. Dosage usually falls between 1.5 and 3.5 grams a day. Oh, and gelatinized maca is often easier on the stomach for some people.
Good tip. Okay, finally, let's tackle something that causes a lot of confusion. Visceral fat. Why is this specific type of fat such a concern? It's not just about looks, right?
Not at all. This is the deeper fat, the stuff inside your abdominal cavity wrapped around your vital organs. Sometimes it gives that firm belly feel. It's often called active fat. And active is key because it's not just sitting there. It actively releases substances, inflammatory markers, hormones that directly impact your organs and overall metabolic health. It's a really important health indicator.
And that whole beer belly thing.
Yeah, that's a bit of a misnomer. It's not just beer. It's excess calories from any source leading to fat storage. And unfortunately, you can't spot reduce it. You can't just do crunches to lose visceral fat. The real issue is its strong link to serious problems: heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, even Alzheimer's. Reducing it involves, well, the usual suspects, but targeted. Enough soluble fiber, a higher protein intake, consistent exercise, cardio, strength training, maybe some HIIT, high-intensity interval training, plus managing stress and getting enough sleep are crucial too.
Right. So when we pull back, the big picture seems pretty clear. Real longevity, that vibrant health span we talked about, it looks like a blend, doesn't it? Strong community ties forming the base.
The foundation.
And then layering on these intentional individual choices like sauna, maybe maca, and definitely managing that visceral fat.
Exactly. It's holistic, which leads to, I think, a really practical question for everyone listening. Considering everything we've just discussed, community, sauna, maca, visceral fat, what's maybe one single concrete step you could take starting, say, this week? Either to deepen a community connection or try out one of these other interventions to boost your own health span. Something to think about.